That actually ties back to a conversation I was just telling you about that I had just before about human bodies and the valuable lesson that emerges and develops depending on the various physical forms. Because, sometimes you think you're a man, or at least you think you are. Sometimes you think you're a woman. Sometimes you think you have a healthy body. Sometimes you think you have an unhealthy body. You think you have a beautiful body. You think you have an ugly body. Every time it changes in the dream. And I was just sitting there talking at the time, about everything. About times when there are experiences where, for example, you have a very beautiful, healthy body, right? It's a lot harder to reach liberation with this intense and deep seated identification with the physical human body than in a completely different life experience where, for example, let's say you're living with a physical disability or the body, you can't rely on it from the start.
Eckhart Tolle, for example, his experience too, maybe we can look at it that way because things weren't favorable for him yet. That favored Eckhart Tolle.
Yes,
He went bad.
yes, but that is all there is to it. Of course, physical health also plays a significant role because yes, the body health. All right, so here we are in the lessons. What's really interesting is that we actually have all the necessary knowledge now right at our fingertips. Thanks to the teachings of Artem and Persa. That in your dream of incarnation, when you think about it, actually every single thing is constantly always there. When it comes to the lessons that need to be learned, that means it greatly decreases the possibility of it happening, of doing it all in a single lifetime each time. That's not why we choose to do it, but in any case, it's possible because you have all the lessons concentrated in the same life.
That's what I think personally right now. I'm going through this period where everything is coming up because I have skin cancer and it's getting worse. I didn't want to be treated by doctors, so I'm pushing through it on my own. And I tell myself, my body is speaking to me so that I can reach liberation through this, through my body.
Yes, it's possible. It can actually be seen from both sides because the human body is so fragile. For me personally, I clearly remember that when I watched my own grandparents slowly pass away at a very advanced age, let's just say I really started thinking deeply to myself. And I realized that I honestly don't see much of a point in waiting around that long just to experience that kind of decline. From my perspective, I have actually never had that fantasy of living at 120 years old in one body.
For me, I asked myself that question about someone close to me. I thought, but she draws light to herself. God needs her. Despite her old age, she's still relatively and perfectly good health. God truly needs that person here on earth at this very moment.
Yes, as long as it's useful, of course, because it's also a truly powerful lesson when you see someone who is completely liberated from the body and who, even so, uses a body that isn't necessarily healthy and still transmits light. They are living proof that the physical body simply cannot exert control over the true being. Yes. Yeah, of course. That's a great lesson. What? Afterwards, yes. Anyway, the body is used by the spirit for teaching purposes, of course. But being free from it beforehand, there is no point in waiting, in believing that you are the body, until whatever age, while still identifying with the body. That's what I mean. It is not about death. On the contrary, it's about life that I speak. Yes. And Valerie is arrived. Hi, Stia.
Hello there, Lawrence. It is truly a pleasure to see you today. And hello to you as well, Maurice. I hope that both of you are doing wonderful and having a fantastic morning so far.
Hi, Valerie.
Well, hello there, my very dear friends.
Hi, Venel.
Hello there, Stanislaus. Hello, Maurice. And a very warm hello to you, Ananda.
Hi there.
Laurent, when it says ceremony facilitator for 12 years, it's actually written in the feminine form. So it's definitely referring to a woman. It's specifically about that person. So thank you very much for pointing that out.
Where did you see that written?
On I choose peace, point love.
Okay, it must be a bad translation into French because in English it's masculine.
The translation does that because that's how it comes out. It's been written in the feminine originally.
I
Don't even remember if that's the question about that.
No, auto translated.
A signifier?
Yeah.